So I did something new last week here in Hokkaido. I went hiking. And I went hiking up Onuma-yama in snowshoes, folks. And that was great fun. Now, it wasn't exactly the first time I'd ever been snowshoeing. I believe way back in the day at winter camp in junior high school in Ontario, Canada. I think we went snowshoeing at Camp Wanakita back in the day. But then, that was those big wooden tennis racket looking things that we strapped to our feet. Now, sure, that was a lot of fun back in the day. But modern snowshoeing, this was a completely different thing. And forgive my ignorance, folks, if you're well into this. This was a first time for me getting on these new things. It was a really cool experience. I'm really happy I did it. And I don't know if you guys remember, in episode 78 of the pod, I had a guest named Mike O'Connell on the show. And it was him that invited me on the snowshoe hike. Mike's actually really good at organizing fun events. He puts together loads of bike rides of varying difficulty, terrain, and purpose. Things like coffee rides or pizza rides, gravel rides, all kinds of stuff. And folks, Mike really knows his way around Hokkaido, around the Sapporo area. He knows all the peaks and valleys names. He's good with gear as well. And actually, Mike, if you're listening, your ski poles are still in the back of my van. Sorry about that. Forgot them in there. But obviously not only bike rides, but snowshoeing and hiking as well. He really enjoys organizing and putting these things together for people to have a really good time and enjoy the outdoors. And our destination for my first snowshoe hike was Onuma-yama down in the Jozanke area in South Sapporo. Now, having never done it before, I obviously did not have any of my own gear. But Mike managed to rustle me up some snowshoes and poles. I'm sure at different places around Sapporo, around Hokkaido, I think you can probably rent gear for activities like this. Right now, for the next episode of the podcast, I'm putting together kind of a list of where you can rent gear for outdoor activities. It's taken me a bit longer than I thought because I'm trying to get in touch with a couple of different people. But next week, if you're looking to rent gear, I'll see if I can find any information on snowshoes as well. But next week's episode is going to be about renting gear for outdoor activities up here in Hokkaido. And of course, the main focus will be on renting bicycles. But anyway, here's my snowshoeing event. Now, for this event, it was actually a very large group. There were 14 people. And hiking in a group of that size, I felt very comfortable. A group that size naturally makes a lot of noise. And that's what you want to be when you're hiking in Hokkaido. You want to be noisy. The best defense against bears is to let them know you're coming by being noisy so they clear the area. And it's spring here in Hokkaido, right? So the big fellas they're waking up and they're probably gnarly hungry, right? But not only were we just naturally noisy with chat, but everybody in the group had a bear bell. I saw many cans of bear spray, including my own. So everybody was well prepared. Everybody has the gear. But again, the best defense is noise, so you don't suddenly come upon them. You don't want to startle them. That's one of the worst things you could possibly do. Let them know you're in the area by being noisy. When they hear humans, they're more than likely to move on and clear the area. So folks, when you're out in the woods, when you're out in the wilderness in Hokkaido, be noisy. I know lots of people hiking, they carry a radio, they play their Spotify playlists. Whatever it is, make noise. All right. But anyway, so all the 14 people, we all met down in South Sapporo, and we actually piled into 3 cars and just drove those 3 cars to the trailhead. The reason we did that is there's very limited parking at the trailhead. So there's no way we could have parked like 10 different cars in that area. There's just not space for it. Not only us, but also there's people already there. There's forestry workers use the parking lot as well. So anyway, we all piled into 3 cars. Carpooled. Better for the environment as well, folks. So after we get out of the cars, we get all geared up and off we went. We start our ascent up the mountain. And I gotta say, folks, this was the very first time for me to do anything like this. And it started out really well. Now, sure, I'm still in spring shape right now. That means fat from lazing around on the couch all winter. So I'm still in spring shape, but hey, the start was fine. The snowshoes weren't giving me too much grief. Now, sure, I was slow because that was a group of experienced snowshoers and hikers, right? So, hey, what are you gonna do? Sure, I'm slow. I'm not a hiker by any means, right? So anyway, I thought it was going quite well, all things considered. But hey, folks, that false confidence at the start of something new is always fun, isn't it? So sure, I'm slow, but it's going all right until we hit the first steep section. And suddenly, I'm slipping, I'm falling, people are looking back and asking if I'm okay. That's when you know you might be in trouble. When other people notice, right? You might be a bit worried. You might have your doubts, but you kind of keep that all internal, right? And you just kind of plow through. But when other people can clearly see you're flailing, that's when you know you're in trouble. But I wasn't in big trouble or anything. There was a really, really steep section of the mountain, and it's covered in snow. And I was okay. What was wrong was I just didn't realize that there was a bit of technique to using the modern day snowshoes, right? You got to kind of, You got to kind of really kick in on the steep sections. And I obviously I didn't know that. It was my first time. Nobody bothered to tell me. But that's okay. You learn by experience, right? You don't fail, you don't lose, you learn. Every day is a school day, right? And I learned. So, hiking up Onuma-yama was just beautiful. There was a lot of space in between the trees. The snowscapes were gorgeous. And you had that kind of, what would you say? You had that kind of inner peace that I find you only get from being out in nature. You know, it was serene. I love being out doing that kind of things. It feels so good. Not only that, being out in nature, but the people in that group were great. They were all ages and sizes. Yours truly. 3 people were actually skinned up on skis. 2 skinned up on skis, and 1 skinned up on a split board. If you don't know what that is, a split board is a snowboard that splits in 2, so you can actually walk up the mountains, you skin up the mountains while wearing it. There was another young woman in our group. She was carrying her snowboard in her backpack. It was really a fun outdoor experience, and it was what also made it really cool is there was about an even mix of foreigners and Japanese, and everybody was just getting along great. It was, there was a lot of fun conversations going on. Really, really interesting. But I got to tell you, folks, there was this one Japanese woman who was snowshoeing without poles. And let me tell you, this woman was an athlete. I mean, she just danced up that hill a couple of times while I was struggling. I looked over and watching her ascend this mountain was just incredible. The effort she appeared to be putting into it was like normal people out for a casual stroll through a local park. isn't this just something else? Some people's athleticism is just incredible, eh? You know what I mean? Where you see people doing a sport, maybe the same sport as you, and you are just not even in the same ballpark. It's really incredible seeing stuff like that. Like, I mean, I was giving it my all, and she she was just playing a different sport than I was that day. Really, really cool to see. You love seeing the different levels that people bring to different things. It's really, really cool to see. So my shame aside, again, it was a really, really great group of people. And I think, what was it? After 2.5 hours, we were at the top. And as always with hiking, the views from the top of any peak are just always so worth the effort, you know? And the snow-covered mountains in South Sapporo, Hokkaido, did not disappoint. From the top of Onuma-yama, we had views of Mount Yote, Mount Muine. Mount Onuma is actually part of the same ridgeline as Mount Muine. We had beautiful views of Tengu Dake and Yoichi Dake. It was just incredible. And, you know, we sat down, had lunch. Some people had coffee, you know, at the top as well. It was just this beautiful, beautiful, peaceful place shared with great people. That I love how, since I've done this podcast, I have met so many interesting, cool people and you know, these people invite me to do things like this. It's 100% through the podcast, and I'm so grateful to all of you listening that have kind of made all of this happen over the last couple and a half years. Thank you. Just a little more information about the peak of Onuma-yama. It sits at a height of 1,112 meters above sea level, so it's up there. And for lunch, you know, of course, my wife had made me a bunch of rice balls to power me up and down the mountains. Just an excellent scene. You know, people took lots of pictures, lots of videos. A really, really fun day. Now here's something I did not know and was really happily surprised with. So in normal hiking, the descent is often equally as difficult as the ascent, right? Well, that is not the case with snowshoe hiking. It was so much easier. Oh my God. It was kind of this weird thing that I was not expecting. You can kind of get like these kind of moon strides going on. You kind of bop gently up and down along in the snow as you descend. It was super smooth. I was not expecting that I was not expecting that at all. If you've never done any snowshoe hiking and you're going to, look forward to the descent. It was really fun. Of course, the skiers and snowboarders were gliding in and out of the trees, which really added to the whole atmosphere of the thing. But again, just walking down was so much easier because the snow is cushioning every footfall. You don't have to struggle to dig your foot out. I don't know what it was. It was so silky smooth and just easy. But again, you know those kind of moon strides I'm talking about? You've seen astronauts on the moon. I'm not asking if you believe if we went to the moon or not or anything like that. You've seen videos of astronauts walking in zero gravity, right? It almost felt like you were doing that. It was really, really interesting. I had no idea that was coming. And for the descent, we took a different route down than going up. So we got to explore even more of that beautiful mountain scenery. On the descent, we were kind of following along with different river gullies and things like that. And with the sun beaming through the trees, it was amazing. So with about a 2.5 hour ascent. It was only about a 1.5 hour descent and a really fun hour and a half at that, just in case I didn't make that, just in case I didn't stress that point enough. But actually, a couple of guys who are obviously really comfortable in snowshoes were actually full on running down the snow-covered slopes. That was a lot of fun to see. It was also a lot of fun to see some people crashing out from time to time. So, part of my shame of the ascent was relieved. I guess you could say, hey, I'm not the only one that's fallen down. But I didn't try running down the slopes. Obviously my first day in snowshoes, I didn't quite, I'm not that dumb. And of course, folks, you can see some videos and pictures on the Cycling Hokkaido YouTube channel and the Instagram page. So I am, as you can maybe tell, I am super grateful to Mike and that group for the opportunity to try something new. It all adds to the experience of life, doesn't it? And again, being lucky enough to live on this beautiful island, Hokkaido, is just more than enough reason to be grateful. Folks, if you like what you hear on the show, please hammer that subscribe button, leave me a kind review, and share the show with your friends. I hope you've enjoyed this kind of snowshoeing episode. Again, next week, I'm in the process of trying to put together something useful for you all who are looking to rent bicycles and equipment here in Hokkaido. Right, subscribe to the show, leave me a review. Folks, I hope you're all having fun out there. Love ya.